win this Senate, they could well do it next Tuesday. Look out. The wild men will be coming out for blood. No niceties or deal-making. They'll be out to bully the president if they get the power. They'll try again to kill Obamacare. And you forget immigration reform, they'll want higher border fences. That's their solution. And along the way, they'll try to humiliate their own party establishment. You watch.
Yeah, well, aren't they also going to kill blacks and chain women up to the stove in the kitchen? You left that out, Chris Matthews. All right, joining us now, folks, is Lanny Davis, lawyer, crisis manager, author, by the way, of 5 Rules for Coping with Crisis in Business, Politics, and Life, and, of course, longtime special counsel to President Bill Clinton. Hey, Lanny.
Well, it was only 14 months as special counsel, but it seemed like 14 years.
Okay, well, a long time is a relative
exactly.
interpretation, I guess. All right, so you still hold out hope that that the Democrats will at least hold even in the Senate. Is that still accurate?
Well, hope springs eternal, but even in my hope, I said 50-50 at best, with Vice President Biden breaking the tie, and I guess I would say that from my mouth to God's ears. Meaning
all right, but if the Republicans win, you're talking about traps, and you're talking about Republicans traps. And you're not saying exactly what Chris Matthews said there, but you are going along those lines.
Well, as a majority party in both houses of Congress, be careful what you wish for, is what I meant by traps, and it's actually friendly advice because Democrats fell into those traps when they owned both houses of Congress and Pennsylvania Avenue, and Obamacare was passed. And while I support Obamacare, the trap they fell into, which is the one the Republicans might fall into, is by becoming totally partisan. So the partisan railroad train ran over the Republican Party and a good percentage of the country that either opposed or didn't understand Obamacare. And so when you get into the majority, you own your decisions. And being the party of no isn't going to do, and that's one of the challenges facing the Republicans if they win on Tuesday night.
But let me turn that around a little bit. What if they take the 350 bills that Harry Reid would not bring to the floor for a vote because Barack Obama didn't want to deal with them or go on record as vetoing them or whatever, or even the Senate going on record as voting for or against them? What if they pass those bills and put a lot of them on the desk of Barack Obama, and then he's on record as vetoing them? What does that do for Hillary or the Democratic nominee in 2016, where they'll have to say, yes, I would have vetoed it too, or no, I wouldn't have vetoed it?
Well, great question, and I'll give you 2 very direct answers. One, Clint Eastwood, make my day to pass those 350 bills, and then we'll run on those bills in 2016 and win by a 49-state landslide, because they're extremist, non-realistic stuff that are only introduced because they're never going to get passed. And number 2, if you don't believe my number 1, which I probably guess you don't, why is it that the U.S. Senate, controlled by the Republican Party, will in fact not pass those 350 bills? And I'll bet you a nice bet for a nice dinner somewhere that I'm right. The reason is because of what I said in number 1. These are the kinds of bills introduced that nobody thinks will ever be passed, so it's okay to introduce them and pass them in the House, because thank goodness the Senate won't enact them. I'll give you some examples, but my point in my article is be careful what you wish for, because you're going to be taking the Republican Party out of the mainstream if you pass all those bills, because you'll be offending the great center of the country, which will elect the next president.
Well, I don't have all 350 bills in front of me, and neither do you, and we only have 2 minutes left, so it doesn't. We couldn't do it justice anyway. But
well,
I want your reaction. I do, and I disagree with it as you expected. But what was your reaction to the chicken blank remark? Do you believe that the Obama White House should find out who that person was if they don't know who it is, and if they do know who it is, either way, find that person, fire them, and make a statement?
Yes.
Will they?
May I explain? The person who made that statement, identified as a senior administration official, personally insulted in very gross terms, the head of a democracy who is our only stable ally in the most dangerous place in the world. Notice I didn't mention the name Israel because it's not about being pro or anti-Israel. The head of government of a democracy that honors human and civil rights and is our only stable ally in the Middle East should not be described by a senior White House official who's responsible, even if that's his personal opinion, he's entitled or she's entitled, should not be described that way to the media.
Okay, we got 30 seconds, Lanny, not to interrupt you, but I do want to get to the question and the answer. So why won't Obama do this?
Well, I'm sure that he's trying to find out who it is, but I suspect the person who did it is hiding and doesn't want the president to know.
Okay,
if the president
fair enough.
knows, he ought to be replaced.
Okay, fair enough. Lanny, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks for the questions.
Take care. We'll be back with... Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be back with more, but first let's check out the West Virginia Senate race with our Road to the Midterms update on Newsmax Television.
West Virginia popped onto Republicans' radar as soon as Democratic incumbent Senator Jay Rockefeller announced his plans to retire. The Mountain State has only come close to sending a Republican to the Senate twice in the past 50 years. But this year is shaping up to be different. Republican Representative Shelley Moore Capito is proving to be a tough contender. She's the daughter of a former West Virginia governor and is no stranger to the life of politics. Capito's approach to the race, slow, steady, and drama-free, is paying off. Her lead in the polls has steadily grown and is now in the double digits. Capito's challenger, West Virginia Secretary of State Natalie Tennant, hasn't run a poor race. She's simply struggling to get past President Barack Obama's poor approval rating in a state that is becoming more conservative. When it comes to the issues, the two are primarily split along party lines. The Affordable Health Care Act, Capito wants to repeal and replace. Tennant doesn't, but does say some parts need reform. Same-sex marriage. Tennant says everyone should be given the same opportunities. Capito believes marriage should be between a man and a woman. Coal. Capito says the president's policies are destroying the state. Tennant is pushing for new technology to make coal cleaner. Political analysts say at this point in the race, it's all about the ground game. Who can get the most people to the polls wins.